David Cloninger with the state newspaper. Jewell, South Carolina's obviously been looking at how to defend you. Have you been looking at how they might try to defend you, and who are the best defenders on that team?
Yeah, we worked on overplaying. We worked on a lot of different other strategies as well. And, we know that Tiffany Mitchell is one of their, better defenders, and she might be guarding me. I'm not sure. But, we're just working on a lot of things.
Question right in here.
Career. Jewell, how similar or different are you and Tiffany as players? You get a lot of comparisons between the two of you. Just how similar or how different are you?
Yeah, I think we're both have the same mindset of attacking. We're patient. Pretty good athletes. So people compare us, pretty similar, but we're at the same time kind of different as well. So.
Anything else for the student athletes? Yeah, go ahead.
Antonia English with the Tampa Bay Times. For both players, could you just talk about having the experience of having been before and how you think that may factor in terms of a team that's never been to the Final Four before?
I think that experience really counts for a lot, being in the Final Four, because there's so many stuff you have to do off the court, and there's different distractions. But I think overall it's just going to be a lot of fun for all the teams that are here.
This is for the students. I'm John Finneran from the South Bend Tribune. Lindsay and Jewell, address what you have seen of the South Carolina team. If they remind you of anybody that you've played before this season, what kind of, matchup or difficulties do you see in playing this team?
I think they remind me a lot of Tennessee, just also being an SEC school. They're very physical. They have great posts, and they play really physical defense.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. They're definitely physical. They they follow their game plan really well, and they play hard. They're fighters.
Question right here.
Philip Hirsch of the Chicago Tribune. For Lindsay, you were pretty much lights out the last two games. Did you wish that you could have been playing Wednesday and Thursday too? And what kind of got you on that roll?
I think just our game plan those two games. The post set really great screens for us, and we got those free throw line jumpers that we really worked on in practice. So just having that confidence and just having your teammates really trusting you and instilling that confidence in you.
Question here in front.
For either of you, some say that just having Final Four experience counts for a lot. Do you think that will play an advantage since this is South Carolina's first trip?
Do you want to take that, Jewell?
I just think that experience really helps. We understand possession basketball, and both teams are here to try to win. So it's you're gonna find it's gonna be a competitive game. That's what you want in women's basketball.
Right here.
Jewell, if you and Tiffany are matched up against one another, does the competitor in you almost kind of want that?
Well, you want good basketball. You want good competition all the way around, and so you want the challenge, and it's awesome. And we talked on the court as well, and we were excited to play against each other.
Anything else for the student athletes? I'm sorry, we have one in the back for our junior journalism workshop.
Growing up, did you guys ever expect to be here?
Growing up, it was always a dream of mine, playing for the Final Four and playing on the biggest stage against some of the greatest players who ever played the game. So, yeah, that was really a goal of mine growing up.
Yeah, definitely. This is something that you dream about growing up as a kid, just playing under the big lights and playing with great teammates and great coaches. So it's been awesome.
Anything else for the student athletes? We'll take one more from the back.
You're so cute.
Right there in front.
What are one of the biggest challenges that you have endured being a basketball player?
Jewell, you want to take that first?
I think, probably just time management, understanding that, you still are a student athlete, so student comes first, and so understanding just how to manage your time.
Yeah, I would definitely say just balancing school and then basketball. Obviously, you have to do both, and it's hard to balance that at times, but you have to get it done.
Okay, at this time we're going to dismiss our student athletes back to the locker room. They'll be available until the locker room closes at 10:50, and we'll continue with questions for head coach Muffet McGraw. We'll start right down here in the blue.
David Cloninger with the state newspaper. Same question, Muffet. How do you see Tiffany Mitchell or some of USC's other defenders matching up with Jewell?
Well, they've got a lot of choices. I think that's the strength of their team, is that they have so many great guards with terrific defensive ability in terms of their just athletic ability. So I think they could probably keep a fresh body on her throughout the game without really losing a lot, even when they go to the bench. So I think they've got some really strong defenders.
Philip?
Hi, Philip Hershey, Chicago Tribune. Muffet, I have two very unrelated questions. One, after a spectacular regular season, Jewell struggled a little bit in the playoffs. The tournament. What have you said to her about just hanging in there and not trying to force it, because she was doing a little bit of that? And the other question is about, you saw her way earlier in the season, but just talk about what Morgan Tuck has added to Connecticut, a healthy Morgan Tuck.
I would say in terms of Jewell that when you look at her numbers, I would have been thrilled if anybody else on our team had those numbers. I think that she has been so spectacular all year long that we expect a superstar every single game. And I think the beauty of us being here and our team, what got us here, is the rest of the team. I think that what Jewell does, when she's on the floor, she draws so much attention from the other team, and their whole defense is designed to stop her. So it allows the rest of the team to step up. And the thing that allows that the most, I think, is Jewell, because she passes the ball so much. She's so happy when the other teammates score. And I think that she's that kind of team member that really kind of empowers the rest of the team to, hey, step up. I believe in you. You can step up and help us win also. And I think she's very comfortable having other people contribute, but I think she is also ready for a big game. And as far as Morgan Tuck, I think that it's a shame that the media decides who's going to be the best players at the beginning of the year, because I thought from our game, at least in December, she was the best player on their team in that game. So probably their second best player. I don't think she's got near the attention that she deserves. I think she's had a fantastic year, and she is a big reason for their success. And for some reason, she's not getting any attention from the media.
Question down here.
Muffet, how important is it for women's basketball that someone other than Connecticut win this weekend and in championships down the road?
I thought this was a great year for women's basketball in terms of the parity of the tournament. We had a number of upsets. We had a lot of close games throughout the tournament into the regionals. You saw North Carolina and Florida State almost beating South Carolina to get here. We had a really tough game with Baylor to get here. Maryland had a tough game with Tennessee to get here. So I don't think it was, even though all 4 number 1 seeds are here, and only for the third time in the history of the tournament, I think that there's a lot of parity, and it's getting better every year. I think we've got the best 4 teams here now, and I think what everybody's hoping for are good games, at least competitive games.
Down here.
Muffet, John Finneran from the South Bend Tribune. Could you talk about the concerns you might have for South Carolina and its front court, and what kind of challenge you think that's going to give to your front court?
Well, I have a lot of concerns about South Carolina. They're such a good team, and their depth is just probably the best in the game. Actually, I think they have the most depth of any team here. They have great post players on the bench and in the starting lineup. You can't think about, we'll have to get them in foul trouble, or maybe we could do this or that, because the people they're bringing in are good or better than the ones that are starting. So I think they present a lot of trouble for us at both ends of the floor. Defensively, you got Coates is a great shot blocker. She's just got such a big body. We haven't really seen a post player with her size and ability all season long. So I think it's going to be a little different for us to see the strength of their posts in this game.
Question right here.
Muffet, Gene Zapikoff from the Charleston Post and Courier. Elaborating on that parity question, with a lot of the same programs at the top, how hard is it for a school like South Carolina to establish a Final Four caliber program?
Well, I think you're starting with a great coach, and that does make things a little bit easier. She's got a tremendous reputation in the game, and she does a great job. So I think that helps. But I think it's difficult. I think the thing that really helps you is when you have great in-state talent. That is probably the thing that can really get you going, because when you have local players who want to stay close to home to play and have their families watch them, it makes it easier to recruit them. So I think that they were fortunate that there's so much talent in the state of South Carolina. And then when you start to win, that attracts more good players. I think good players want to play with good players. So I think it's really been flourishing for Dawn.
Question here.
Jewell, Charleston Post and Courier. Muffet, Tiffany Mitchell gets so much attention for her offense. What have you seen from her on film in terms of a defender, especially how well she's able to defend late in games when she's extending herself on the offensive end as well?
It's funny, we were talking, she and Jewell are so similar in that way that they both guard the other team's best player, and we ask so much of Jewell and I'm sure of Tiffany as well. You've got to perform at the offensive end, but then you've got to shut down somebody, and then of course you better rebound and do some other things in between. So I think to have the best player be the best defender, it just says a lot for Tiffany and her mindset. I think a lot of really good players just want to score, and they don't have as much interest at the other end. So I think it's great to see these two young ladies really take pride in their defense.
Question down front.
Muffet, John Finneran again from the South Bend Tribune. Do you, whereabouts at the end of the season did you start to feel like, okay, now we're getting our feet underneath us as far as rebounding, and we can rebound with other people?
I think we were really challenged throughout the season in the ACC, which is just really prepares us so well for the tournament because we're seeing so many great teams. You had Florida State, who was only out-rebounded once all season long, and that was when we did it in the ACC tournament. So I think the rebounding, we faced so many teams throughout the year that this is a great rebounding team. They're hardly ever out-rebounded, so we really got to do our job. And I think we started to finally take pride in it. It took a while, I think late in the season, probably end of February, before we really started to take some pride in the box out and really work a little bit harder on the boards.
Coach Al Essar with the South Bend Tribune.
Where are you?
Just wondering what the impact Natalie Tunnell has had on the program this year, the contribution she's been able to make.
It's been great having Ace around to just help counsel some of the players, to have her on the bench, to talk to us a little bit from the players' point of view. We'll talk about some things we're going to do, and she'll give some input as to whether that's a good or a bad idea or something that they would embrace. So it's been great for me having a little bit of a sounding board, which was very similar to when she was a senior. You know, we talked about a lot of things then too. It's funny to watch her. She's incredibly organized and running things, which is not a surprise because of her leadership ability. But it's been great. It's been great for her to have this experience of being on the bench and being around practice. It's kept her going through the injury because she's just been rehabbing and working hard on that. So it's been, I think, a great experience for both of us.
Question here in the middle.
Charlie Creed from ESPNW. Coach, what have you learned about Taya Reimer this year?
Taya has been probably the difference in our season, I would say. Somewhere around the middle of January, she turned into a completely different person, and she has brought an energy and an aggressiveness and a confidence that we've really needed. I think that our posts were, I said in the beginning of the year, I didn't think they were tough enough. And she's the difference. She's the one that really brought out the toughness in the others. She's been a mentor for Catherine and Bree. She's just added so much experience as just a sophomore. But I think she has really turned the corner, changed her game. And I think that from that point on, I think she's had an All-American type of season. And so we're just so happy that she has kind of found a way to lead this team.
Question from Doug.
Hey, Coach. Doug Feinberg, the AP. I apologize if you answered already, but just talk about Natalie Tunnell's growth from what you've seen as what she's done for you as a Dobo and such, her growth as a person and such over the last year for you.
You know, as a player, Natalie was the most mature player I've ever had from the time she was coming out of high school. She was always somebody that was incredibly organized and knew what was coming months down the road. And then as a player, the same kind of leadership with the team, took care of them. Everybody was always in the right spots. They were on the bus at the right time. They knew where they were supposed to be because of her leadership and her organization. And so those skills in the Dobo job have been tremendous for us. She has organized all the itineraries. She keeps everybody in line. She's on top of everything. And plus, being a former player, I think can really help the players. She can counsel them on some things that, you know, if we're hitting a rough patch and she needs to go in and talk over some things with them, I think she's a really good listening ear for them to be able to vent some things. And she's just been great on the bench. I mean, she's got great ideas. Initially, she didn't say too much, and then finally got comfortable and gave some input in what we were doing on the court. So I think it's been great. really great for us, and I think great for her as well.